3 bedrooms, 1 level with a great meadow view and gorgeous Saddle Lake Farms. Colleen and David Black, Keller Williams Realty. Call on Colleen.
I'm James Spann. This is the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Monday, the 30th day of November. As we get set to sail into December tomorrow, the weather this morning will be wet and then wet again on Wednesday with a complex storm coming at us from the west. Let's go to some of the Skycam shots around the network this morning. First off, coming from Gadsden. Rain falling there up in northeast Alabama. That's kind of a cool shot. That's the Prattville Skycam down in Watauga County, north of Montgomery. Video there shooting through a big Christmas wreath on that big clock tower just off US 82. And Columbus, Mississippi, in Lowndes County there across the state line. Rain is falling there steadily this morning. Well, there's our complex storm system. We've got the thing coming out in 2 pieces. We talked about this last week. The first trough, as you can see, is coming out this morning. The second one is hanging back as a closed upper low that's over the Gulf of California, which means the rain comes in 2 parts. Part 1 is today. Part 2 is Wednesday. And that's what you will be driving to work in this morning. Widespread rain across the northern part of Alabama. At 5 o'clock, the rain is north of Interstate 20 for the most part, but that rain band will be sagging south this morning. But it's not going to rain all day. In fact, we think by the lunch hour, the rain will be gone. In fact, a pretty decent chance the sun breaks out this afternoon. Check the watch warning map just for the fun of it, and look at the winter storm watches for parts of New Mexico, West Texas, and far southeastern Arizona. That's in advance of that deep upper low out there. And also some flood watches on the Florida coast and the Alabama Gulf Coast for this storm that'll be coming at us on Wednesday, the second part. And there's the QPF chart. This is the rain for the next 5 days. This is suggesting pretty big numbers for the southern half of the state. The amounts there vary from about 1.5 inches for the northwestern part of the state down to 3 inches for South Alabama and almost 5 inches for Mobile. And no doubt that rain could be heavy at times, especially with our system on Wednesday. We'll have to watch for some flooding potential, but the good news, the flash flood guidance values are pretty high, so we should be able to handle most of that without any serious issues. And the other problem, a risk of severe weather. This is on Wednesday, day 3. For the southeastern part of Alabama, around Dothan, and then much of Florida, South Georgia, and the eastern part of the Carolinas, and that is where there's a chance that those areas will get in the warm sector of that developing surface low and storm, as you'll see. Well, let's look at modeling here. This is the 06C GFS at noon today. There's the trough segment lifting out just north of us, the upper low hanging back, and wet is the word today. And again, we think the bulk of the rain will be this morning. The sky begins to clear this afternoon. And then tomorrow we're in between everything, so the day should be dry, but that rain you see in the Gulf with that developing surface low should move in here tomorrow night. And then Wednesday, there's your trough lifting out just west of here. Northern branch trough developing to the north, and that thing's going to phase up and make it turn cold later this week. There's the GFS look at midday Wednesday. The surface low is near Gadsden. And again, with that look, there could be some pretty strong storms down in southeast Alabama around Dothan. We'll have to watch for severe weather potential down there. And of course, if that surface low projection is right, then the bulk of the rain will be Wednesday morning, diminishing by Wednesday afternoon. And no severe weather here where we are, but let's look at the NAM very quickly. It's interesting to note that the NAM on Wednesday at midday is actually farther west. Instead of the surface low being near Gadsden, it's closer to Oxford, Mississippi. And that would suggest maybe some thunder here. I don't know if we can destabilize for any severe weather. But again, just note the discrepancy there. One way or the other, Wednesday's going to be awfully wet, especially Wednesday morning. And of course, if that's right, it's going to be wet all day Wednesday. And then Thursday, that surface low is north of Buffalo, New York, moving up into Canada. And look at the cold air flooding the middle of the nation. And look at Friday. Wow. You know, that's the, we've talked about that negative Arctic oscillation for a long time. Well, that's what happens when you see that. Cold air floods the nation. There's the surface chart. The 540 line is in the Gulf of Mexico. The 516 thickness line is down to Memphis. And on Thursday and Friday, by golly, we might have a hard time getting out of the 30s on those days. That's cold, my friends. Of course, will be dry. And then Saturday, starting off the weekend, we'll start to moderate Saturday afternoon. Probably Saturday morning would be the coldest morning with everybody in the 20s, and maybe potential for the teens for the colder valleys there. But that should get us back up toward the 50-degree mark Saturday afternoon. Then Sunday, we should be back up around 60, and here comes the next rain off to the west. More than likely, that comes in here Sunday night. And then Monday, it just kind of weakens. And boy, look at the developing storm out there in the Four Corners. That'll be a big snow for the ski resort areas out there a week from today. Let's check the end of the forecast at mid-month. This is the 15th of December. The polar jet has shifted north, and if that's right, no cold air. And around here, that looks like an approaching storm system, but as we all know, that's out here in voodoo country. We're just peaking. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by 3:30 or so today. And if you're local to us, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 News at 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.
Each day, there are new stories to tell about the people who live here and the place we call home.
All of the faces that I see, all of the places close to me, they're all part of all the best things about home.
Sharing your stories on ABC 3340, Alabama's news leader.